Thank you everyone for supporting Hackaday, and thank you for your continued support. And I would like to again kick this off by saying thank you so much for so many years of supporting us. Without you, we won't have this Hackaday. Hackaday was founded not a marketing event. It was a platform that we founded with the purpose to nurture the young and give them the opportunity to unleash their talent over their platform. This is the 7th year that we are doing this. And let's do a quick reflections over the past. Once again, I want to say thank you for your support. Again, without you guys, we won't have today. And again, this is a track record that we have. How many students that we nurture, and we are committed to continue to do this. In Hackaday, what we will do every year is that we'll create a platform, starting from the web, to the mobile, to IoT, to blockchain, to today AI. We create a platform. We want to give the students to learn how to hack this sort of platform so that they can play a role to understand what sort of risks can be generated from this sort of platform, and so that, again, they can play a role to secure the platform. I'm proud to say that Hackaday has started in Hong Kong 7 years ago, branched out to Macau, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Vietnam. We also introduced the hackathon angle, so that besides looking into the security, we want the students to be able to harness the benefit from this technology. Let's go quickly to the other region just to observe how the competition is doing. And for those people who are interested, there's a live competitions right over there. And they're doing the hacking over the AI platform, doing the prompt engineering, prompt injections, according to the OWASP, okay? Back to the gist of the keynote. This is a list of cyber incidents that Dark Lab has responded this year. There are 4 key takeaways I'd like to share with everyone. First, ransomware still remains as the #1 threat in Hong Kong and the Asia-Pacific region, bypassing business email compromise since 2 years ago. Second, from the initial access perspective, the notable CVE, or the 0-day, still again remain as the #1 initial access, where the threat actors leverage to go into the environment. Third, this is something new. We observe managed services provider being targeted by the threat actors and becoming more prevalent. The threat actors attack managed services companies and leverage on the credential that they harness and do further attacks over the customers. Fourth, this is also new. Adversary in the middle. We observe there's a lot of man-in-the-middle attack, bypassing the MFA to steal the token or the cookies to leverage access to the environment. These are the 4 key takeaways that we observe. There has been recent high-profile attacks in Hong Kong. A lot of people ask me, is there a particular group or threat actors focusing on Hong Kong? Is there a reason why Hong Kong organization got such attack? I hope to give an answer to these questions. Let's look at the data. If you look at the Asia-Pac data, the leak side, 56% growth year on year. 56% growth on the leak side. For those people you don't understand or not familiar with leak side, that's the way how ransomware works. They are doing a double extortions. They go in, they exfiltrate the data, they encrypt, then they list you out on the leak side. to blackmail you, to threaten you. So we use Lakeside as our basis of statistics to calculate what's the threat data in Asia. Again, Asia-Pac is 56% growth. Look at Hong Kong. What's the growth rate there? 21. It's actually below the Asia-Pac. And you look at some of the locations that's listed up here. Some of them grew by 4 times, 2 times, or even 1 time. Again, I hope these data provide you all more clarity what's happening in Hong Kong versus the rest of Asia-Pac. But don't forget, ransomware is financially motivated. They target low-hanging fruit in the cyber ecosystem, and there are ways for you to defend them. 3 key takeaways or 3 lessons learned that we can pick up from the cyber incidents. Number 1, automation intelligence. I will further explain what do we mean by automation intelligence. But basically, the automation intelligence will give the threat actor faster way to weaponize. And again, I'll show you with some numbers. Like just now, I also mentioned number 2 and number 3, managed services provider, guys. The managed services provider is no longer like the supply chain scenario that we observed a few years ago. It's becoming more prevalent and it's happening in Hong Kong. Again, I'll show you the scenario. How does the threat actor go to the managed services provider, and then how did they go further to their customers? And again, because of the generative AI, phishing become more easier. Content can be generated faster. And again, we predict in the next coming few years, the mainstream attack will be the AITM or man-in-the-middle attack to hijack the sessions. Just like the WhatsApp session, maybe some of you or some of your friends surrounding you has been experienced. Automation intelligence. Look at the numbers here. T minus 12, 8, 0, 2, 3. What does it mean by that? T represent the day where the vulnerabilities become lead or become visible to all of us. That means there's a patch that exists, and you can start patching. But if you look at the numbers here, T minus 12, that means that patch was not even available, and the attack has already started. Just for this minus 12 example, this is what we observe. A managed services provider was attacked, and again leverage on the account that they harvest, and continue to go to their customers with the attempt to launch a ransomware attack. 12 hours before the credential was put on the dark web. 12 hours before. 8 hours. The speed that Kok. Some of you might know Kok. Kok is a very famous threat actor in the ransomware. Kok used 8 hours on a 0 day. Once the 0 day is announced, 8 hours later, Kok starts to attack. What does this mean to all of us here? What is the speed of our patch? Can we patch within 8 hours? If not, you look at Kok, they already started weaponizing. And T minus 12, the leak credential was not even exist. Can our SecOps pick up all this insider threat? We need to ask ourselves a question. Are we ready for this sort of automated intelligence that the threat actors now they have? If they have automation, so as we. That's how we should react. For the managed services provider, the threat actors will go into the managed services provider environment through brute forcing, through CVE exploitations. There are 2 scenarios that can further happen from the managed services provider. First, they can remote log in directly to the customer environment. So what's the lesson learned here? Do not entirely trust your service provider. They could be compromised. If you grant a remote desktop, if you grant a 3389, they can log in directly to your environment. That's one scenario that we picked up. Second, the credentials that they harvest after they compromise the environment. They will use the credential to further log in remotely, maybe through VPN, maybe through the SaaS portal. And again, MFA is very important, guys. MFA is still very vital in this context. That's the managed services context. And again, these two scenarios are the real-life incident that we picked up in Hong Kong. AITM, typical phishing scenario. Leverage on some of the email's configuration weakness, such as the SPF, spoofing. Create an interesting content. Again, this is something that we already know. 10 years ago, phishing is not a new thing to all of us. We have invested into systems, we have invested into solutions to protect that. But what's the difference now? The man-in-the-middle attack. Man-in-the-middle attack, a link is given to steal the sessions, to steal the token after the MFA is authenticated. After the MFA is authenticated, that means they're stealing a valid sessions and able to log into the environment. So we need to ask ourselves, 5 years ago, we sitting down here collectively set up, we talk about multi-factor authentication as a baseline of security policy. 5 years now, we are sitting down here and we are seeing an attack scenario that MFA is no longer adequate. So what else we need to do? For example, we need to strengthen the control. Check the device status. Is it a valid status of the device? Has the device been compromised? Further fine-tune the conditional access. Geolocate the access. Look at suspicious access. Doing the detections. This will be moving forward and will be becoming the mainstream of some of the controls to prevent what we call the AITM or man-in-the-middle attack. Gen AI has been a popular tool since the beginning of this year. I'm sure you all has all the experience in ChatGPT. A lot of people also ask me, what's the implications of Gen AI into the cyber threat world? What we observe, Gen AI has been used to create large amount of content in an easier way, translation, more interesting way. Look at some of the example here. A photo was generated through deepfake technology. And look at the content. Again, that's why we predict, again, AITM will become a mainstream attack in the coming years. Identity-based theft. But if you look at this content carefully, ultimately the Gen AI is used by human beings. The attackers also are like us. They do make mistakes, what we call the OPSEC mistakes. So if you look at a photo, is it a lady or a guy? Look at the way they configure and look at the content. Again, there are ways for you to pick up. But of course, not everyone is that vigilant. Again, we predict that more and more AITM or man-in-the-middle attack will happen. Many of you know Dark Lab has been running the cyber threat operation for many years, at least for 3 years now. I would just like to share some data with everyone. First, 68 threat actors actively targeting Hong Kong organizations, representing 26% of increase from last year. 68 organizations, and most of them are the ransomware threat actors. Again, like I mentioned, ransomware is still remain as the #1 threat that we face. Not a surprise, 150% increase of the CVE. I'm sure all the IT people are very busy. In the past, you patch one time. Now there's 150% increase. And again, remember the pace, the speed. If you still patch manually, they will come after you. Remember, T minus 12, T plus 8 hours, guys. These are the speed. Young domain, 40%. Again, these are targeting top 200 companies, including the banks in Hong Kong. For those of you not familiar with Young Domain is the domain that creates today. The reason why they create a domain similar to your organization, only one reason. Either they try to make money together with you, which I don't believe is the case, or they try to fish you. Look at the numbers, increase of 40%. And internally in a dark lab, look at the number of incident response that we have conducted, increased by 50%. If you look at the numbers, 46, almost every week we are responding for a customer on an incident. Last, initial access broker. Like I mentioned, more and more identity theft will happen. A lot of threat actors, they are there to harvest the token, harvest the credential. They might not leverage on their credential to log in, but they will start putting up for sale. And look at the numbers there. This is targeting Asia Pac and Hong Kong, representing 10% of increase. With all the threat data that we have as a backdrop, I'm proud to introduce what we call the Dark Lab AI-powered CTO 3.0. What do we do differently in this framework? If you look at my right-hand side, the data that most of us are familiar with, all the platform data, the tech stack data, the logs, you ingest into your SIEM, into the analytics platform. Run through your use cases, run through your analytics with the objective to detect potential attacks, and you respond towards it. This is something that you and I are familiar with, and we've been doing that. But I would like to introduce on the left-hand side, we want to ingest what we call the enterprise data. Enterprise data from non-technology data, such as HR records, who joined the company, what sort of role they are playing, are they on leave, have they left the company, or communications, Teams records, email records, or even those service management records, who is provisioning a new laptop, what sort of change that we're putting into production. And in Dark Lab 3.0, we are ingesting all this data into the AI. And a lot of you will ask, what is the benefit of doing this? Let me show you a quick demo. Look at this incident. Maybe some of you are familiar with this. Any SecOps people look at this incident, they will start jumping. You represent a potential Mimicat has been run or credential dump. Any of security people, when they see Mimikatz, they will start jumping because they know their domain admin is at risk. As a typical SecOps person, when they see this ticket, what will they do? They start triaging the ticket, correlate the logs before and after, try to find more indicators, what has happened before and after. We hopefully potentially provide them more clues. Is this a real incident? But we all know correlation, triage, takes time and needs to run through the algorithm, needs to run through the analytics, and moreover, it comes with potential false positive. So what can Gen AI do in this context? What the SecOps will do is that it will go to the prompt, because remember, we have ingested more enterprise data in there. So it will consist of the background, the CMDB of what the host is. It can check in the domain controller, this ID belongs to who? Maybe through the previous record that they have done the confirmations. Maybe through the AD informations. Maybe through the HR records. Again, they can prompt the AI. And then the AI will explain, what is this host? Play. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry. Yeah, I will just explain it. Yeah, and then the AI will prompt. You prompt the AI will explain what host is this. Then the SecOps people will realize that what sort of, it belongs to what sort of segments. Yep, you can see it's asking about the administrator. Who is this person? And he's going to ask, is this normal to perform such operations? And you look at the response. And he tells the SecOps person this is a false positive. Why? Because it has been a communication channel and there has been a service desk channel that saying that this is a red team, simulated red team operations. So it's telling the SecOps person you don't have to be worried because this is something arranged by the red team. Again, if you ingest all these things into the AI, you can streamline and you can make your response much quicker. Can we go to the thank you slide now? So once again, I want to say thank you to everyone to coming to support us. I hope you found our sharing insightful. Again, I hope you continue to support Dark Lab. It's not just a marketing event. It's a platform that we founded to nurture the young. And I'm glad that you play a vital role in doing this together. And I hope everyone enjoy your day today. Thank you.